Welcome back to Beach Variety New School. I'm your host, Jefferson Denham, and today we're sitting down with the director of an after-school program located in Orange County, Karen Gonzalez, and her right-hand woman, Monica Gonzalez, to discuss how the pandemic has affected their site instructors and students. Thank you so much for being here this evening. Tell us about yourselves. Monica, I'm going to start with you.
Hi, so my name is Monica. I'm the site lead instructor at Finley Elementary School, and I'm actually a senior at Cal State Long Beach. I'm majoring in human development.
Okay, and then Karen, tell us about you.
Hi, so my name is Karen Gonzalez. I am the site director at Finley Elementary School. I also go to Cal State Long Beach, and I am an American Studies major.
Oh, wow. That's fascinating, actually. So, all right, Karen, I'm going to stay with you. Why did you decide to work with kids?
So during my senior year of high school, junior and senior year of high school, I was in a regional occupational program. It's called ROP, and I worked in a preschool with actual preschoolers. It was part of a class. We got our units, we got our grades, and I ended up, since I was in there for 2 years, I ended up getting a certificate. And that's how I started off with working with children. Because once I turned 18, it was the only experience I had working in anything. Yeah. And that's where I started.
Okay. And Monica, same question. How did you or why did you decide to work with kids?
Well, I have a little bit of a different story. I actually used to be a CNA, so I worked with the elderly. And then I realized...
I'm sorry. What does CNA stand for?
Certified Nursing Assistant.
Okay.
And then it wasn't for me. I didn't really like it. Like, it was a very heartbreaking job. And then, so I started working with kids, did like a whole 360 turn, and I love it. No, 180 turn, sorry. And
I'm in college.
Sorry.
No, it's all good.
So, yeah.
There is no more math in this interview, just so you know.
And so I started working with kids, and I've been here for 4 years, and I love it so much.
So, Monica, what do the kids mean to you? Did you hear my question, Monica?
Sorry, I accidentally muted myself.
That's okay.
I think, kids are the future, and, it's up to adults to determine how they're going to be. Mm. And I think they need a lot of patience. And so just being there for them, that's what kids need to be, just being there for them so they can have successful futures.
Karen, same question. What do the kids mean to you?
I'll steal that answer. They are the future. The kids that we specifically work with, it's just very nice to see character development in them. So it gives me hope for the future.
Okay, so how long have you, Karen, staying with you, how long have you been working there?
I've been working since December 2014. So about 6.5 years.
Wow, and all the little lives that you're influencing and having an impact with. That's really amazing. And then Monica, same question. How long have you been working there?
So I've been there for almost 5 years. I started off as an instructor, and now I'm the lead instructor. All
right, very cool. Okay, so here is a closer look at the staff and campus and what they have to say about COVID and how it was made certainly more challenging, not just for millions of kids, but instructors as well.
So it's kind of hard to have them separated because they're trying to build like friendships and relationships because they need to learn how to communicate with just interactions with each other, and it's very hard telling them, oh, you need to be 6 feet apart because of safety. Hi, my name is Joseph Nguyen. I work at Finley Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Miss Monica. I am the site lead instructor here at Finley Elementary School.
Hi, my name is Jackie. I am a site instructor for Finley Pride, and this is school here in Southern California. When it comes to virtual learning, I think it's definitely a privilege, but also something that can be very destructive as well in the case of, elementary school students.
Like before it was all virtual, and it's kind of hard to like help them virtually because you can't really read their emotions or know what they're feeling or if they're like really struggling unless they speak out. And that's kind of hard virtually, but in person you can actually tell if they need help with their works or assignments.
But I have noticed it's been like a strain for them because I think some teachers have been assigning them a lot more than what they probably would have outside of the pandemic.
Currently, because of COVID, we have a lot of new regulations. So we have the plexiglass around our students, and all of our activities are very independent. For example, we have painting and we have perler beads, which the students only need to get things on their own, and then they can work independently. Another struggle that we've been dealing with is trying to keep the kids 6 feet apart at all times. During snack time, we have 3 different designated areas so the students can have enough space to separate. The 3 designated areas we have for eating are the reading garden, the NPR, and our lunch benches.
So for my class, I have the little ones, the kindergartners, so it's kind of hard to have them separated because they're trying to build like friendships and relationships because they need to learn how to communicate with just interactions with each other, and it's very hard telling them, oh, you need to be 6 feet apart because of safety. Kind of hard for them to understand that, but we make it work, and hopefully things go back to normal. That way they can learn the essential what they really need to learn in life, which is life skills pretty much.
Wow. Karen, Monica, on behalf of parents everywhere, can I just say thank you so much for what you guys are doing. As I was saying earlier, it's challenging enough even when there isn't a pandemic. And for all the reasons that was articulated in that video, thank you for being heroes, really. The many challenges that there's some alluded to there, but could you tell us a little bit more, just so everybody can see what you have to do, what you're trying to get accomplished, and with all the things, the obstacles that you have to deal with. So Karen, starting with you, what are some of those challenges that have arisen?
So it's a very different job now, COVID wise. Pre-COVID, I was only running an after school program. Now I'm running a full day program. I feel like I have multiple caps, like hats that I wear. Sorry. I feel like sometimes I can be the nurse, I can be the principal, I can be their friend, I can be their enemy, I can be a parent, I can be HR. It's just a completely different experience. But I'm learning as we're going.
Right, and you're handling it right as it's coming at you. Monica, same thing. I know, like keeping kids 6 feet apart. Wow. So what are some of the challenges that you've dealt with personally?
Yeah, so with the students, a lot of challenges that I've noticed is that it's just harder for them to focus, or they just doze off right away, and keeping them 6 feet apart at all times during lunch times and during activities, they just want to be with their friends. They understand that they have to stay apart, but it's hard for them to do it even when they know that they don't have to. So we'll just find kids that will be playing a game together, and we're like, I'm so sorry, but you have to separate and stuff. Just being as safe as possible and just seeing them how much it's impacted them as well. It's been rough.
Right, and you're trying to keep the kids safe. You're trying to keep yourselves safe. So Monica, staying with you, what are some of the measures that you've taken to make this school COVID safe?
So we have our shields in the classrooms separating desks. Even the tables that they do have, they're 6 feet apart. During when they eat, they are 10 feet apart because they don't have their masks on. So they have to be, separated like that. We have X's around the school, so they have a place to stand. And every X that you're on, you know that you're 6 feet apart from someone. And just like little details like that. We have sinks inside the classroom, portable sinks, just so they could always be washing their hands, taking temperature, hand sanitizer everywhere, just making sure everything is safe and clean.
Karen, what activities do you have for the kids? I guess for both of you, but I'll start with you, Karen. What activities do you have for the kids?
Definitely none of the activities that we played before. It's crazy to think just how different times are now. A lot of activities that we do are mainly outdoor. We've done a lot of chalk activities, art competitions on the floor. Kicking a soccer ball is our new game instead of soccer, so they stay in one place and just kick the ball back and forth. We recently, after a full year, just came back to the playground. I know, and the kids are loving it, but it's very difficult to keep them 6 feet apart. That we need to start taking turns. So it's not the same.
Wow. And so Monica, same deal. Like, what activities do you feel like you've been able to accomplish?
A lot of painting, a lot of individual activities. I remember we would always do like collaborative work where we all had that same like piece of paper and we would all add things, or we'd be drawing on the same thing, like, getting all of like our hands mixed together. And now it's just everyone in their own desk for indoor activities, or when we're outside, it's like you have chalk. So you only have your one piece of chalk 6 feet apart from your friends, stuff like that.
Wow.
Just very distant activities, different. If we're gonna play rock, paper, scissors, okay, 6 feet apart, but it's different.
Wow. Okay, so we have to head to a quick break right now, but when we come back, we will continue our conversation with Karen and Monica about how the kids have been affected, as well as the kids themselves. So we'll be right back. All right, so welcome back. Karen, what have you witnessed? How have you seen kids struggling?
They just don't learn on Zoom, or they're trying their best. I know they are, but it's not the same. I know a student, and I'm quoting a student, my teacher, if I was in the classroom, my teacher wouldn't glitch. And that's just heartbreaking because it's, that they want to learn, but they're slowly just stepping away from that. They're checking out from a full year of Zoom. So it's a little heartbreaking, but knowing that some of them have come back, they get excited. I know a teacher was telling me that she asked the students, what is one thing you are excited to come back for? And she said that a student told her, I want to meet you, because they hadn't met in person, right? Wow. You think you know someone, but they hadn't actually met.
Wow. Monica, same. Have you noticed like how, just up close, how kids are struggling?
Yeah, especially, in academics, like if they're in a classroom and they doze off, the teacher quickly, hey, pay attention. But, I will have students that are looking at the computer, but they're actually playing a game. And they just miss that entire lesson. Or just kids that, they're not practicing their writing skills, so they don't really know their alphabet. They only know how it looks like on a keyboard. I asked 2 different kids on 2 different days, so like completely different like children, and I asked them what grade they were. Both of those kids could not answer what grade they didn't even know what grade they were in.
Oh my gosh.
I figured out one was a second grader and the other one was a first grader. So, I mean, and I kind of understand why they wouldn't know.
Yeah.
They were younger, but yeah, they didn't even know what grade they were in. So it was just really like heartbreaking to see that. And this happened like last week. So we're in March now.
Well, and obviously you guys are showing up even in spite of all the challenges. Is there any, so Karen, I'll start with you. Is there any method of virtual learning that could possibly be seen in a positive light? Is there any pros to the massive amount of cons in this scenario?
I would say there is. I know in California, we don't have a lot of snow days, but I know in other states when school is canceled because of snow, they can do virtual. Now that we have a few kids that have traveled to go just to a different country and they have to stay there for a while, they can still attend class. So that's helpful. It's just a new idea so they don't stay behind. But
Right.
It's not a forever thing, just a temporary thing.
And then Monica, do you see any pros to I know most of the stuff, like we're trying to get our kids off of screens, right? So they can pay attention to other things. But do you see any positive things to this situation?
I do notice that there are certain activities that they're doing on their computer that I've never seen before. And I think that they have been like helpful, some certain worksheets. So I see, I can see that where they've now discovered like an activity that they do online that is learning that I had never seen, in the past 4 years. So it's created, some better forms of like online learning, which in some aspects we need, especially since our school is a computer magnet school. So the kids begin to learn coding in like 3rd or 4th grade. So in that aspect, they're better at computers than a lot of adults. So I guess those are some positive lights we could say.
Yeah, it's always good to try to find something like that. So without a doubt, we know that millions of kids around the nation are being affected by this. So it's time for another break. And when we come back, we'll show how the kids have been dealing with Zoom school. Welcome back. All right, so here, let's take a look at how the kids have been dealing with virtual learning.
She glitches in the computer, but she can't glitch out in the classroom. I don't really know what to do.
And it makes a really creaky noise, and it does not sound nice. And when you're in the classroom, you don't have a computer, you don't have to talk on Zoom, you just say it.
Before COVID, we could go out to recess and play tetherball, able to talk to our friends without being 6 feet away. And we were always be able to play on the playground, tetherball, basketball, or handball. But since COVID, we can't do that anymore.
I miss the playground.
Miss, sitting with them, talking with them, or doing activities with them. And it's just been hard to interact with them.
I would try to make friends, but it's harder making friends with the computer.
I miss about is not being able to talk to friends, and things I like about being in school is that you get to focus more because the teacher's looking at you. She can help you now without having trouble. She doesn't glitch anymore.
At home virtually, I felt like, it wasn't normal being at home because we just didn't, we didn't learn at home. I think it would be better if we learned at school.
So like you said, the kids show up and say, wow, that's what you look like. I love to be able to see you. Monica, when you watched that, what impacted you the most from watching that video?
It honestly was a little emotional when hearing one of our students say how hard it was to make friends. And it's true, they don't get to socialize the same way that they used to. And especially that girl, since I know her and I see her, and it's sad because I've also heard another student in that same class who has told me the same thing. And I ask her, what's, who do you hang out with? And she goes, no one. And I'm like, what? It's, you're here, and it's not the same for them anymore. So it's just hard.
Karen, how about you when you watch that video? What do you feel? What's your thoughts?
I was actually very surprised from what the kids said. I'm just so used to telling them, it's time for Zoom, it's time for playground. It's just like a very structured, scheduled day. And we have conversations, but never a conversation like that with how they actually feel with this whole COVID thing. So it was surprising. It was very surprising. Like Monica said, emotional.
What do you do? So Karen, staying with you, what do you do with kids that might need more help with homework or with help with activities?
We do try to help the kids with their homework. On Zoom, some of them struggle more than the others. With activities, some of them just want to be on their computer all day, and it's very challenging to find an activity that will motivate them to get off the screen. Yeah,
I feel that. Monica, same question. What do you do with kids who might need more help with homework or activities?
Yeah, so we've had that struggle where just students are not performing at their grade level. So their homework is of a third grader, but they're still as of a second grader or first grader. So just having to stay by them one by one and try to explain exactly, in the most, terms. I'm not a teacher, so, but I will help them. But when they don't understand everything, before, if a kid is struggling, it's they have their homework page, they'll ask 2 questions or they'll be struggling a little bit. And then we'll just see students now that they don't understand anything or they can't even read when they're supposed to be knowing how to read. Just little details like that.
Well, like Karen had said earlier, you guys are wearing multiple hats, many hats you never had to wear before. So, all right, the pandemic obviously is taking its toll on kids, on everyone. Karen, do you feel as if the kids will remember what it's like to attend Zoom?
Oh, definitely. There's so many things they are able to get away with on Zoom. I know they're gonna say these stories once they're older. Oh yes, I remember I was on Zoom and my teacher caught me playing a game, or my teacher was on Zoom and my mom was yelling in the background. Yeah.
Right,
So
right.
it's a very memorable thing because they can remember it.
And Monica, same. So do you feel like when you kids get, because we're going to just assume everything's going to get much, much better in the fall. Are they going to look back at this and remember the details of it? Or are they just going to go, boy, I'm glad that's over? What do you think?
I think the older ones, like when I say older, I mean like third or fourth grade, second grade as well, will remember it clearly. I think the younger ones, especially like the kindergarten, preschool, TK kids, they'll probably remember it, but very vaguely because they still don't know what school is. Like the older kids are like, oh, I remember when we would do this. I remember when we would do that. Like things are so different. And the younger kids, like they're 5 and 6, like they still, wearing a mask is their normal and they still don't understand how it is when it's not. So I think with that, we'll see how it is for them.
Right. Well, thank you for wearing all the hats that you wear. You guys are so amazing. And so thank you for the hard work you put in. Again, I will say from my perspective, from my heart to yours, and from all the parents from that school and all the parents with kids in school now, thank you for being so really courageous in the face of just incredible odds. So, and thank you, Karen and Monica, for being with us today.
Thank you so much for having us.
For having us.
You bet. All right, well, that's all the time we have for today. I want to give thanks once again to our very special guests, Karen Gonzalez and Monica Gonzalez, for joining us this evening. And thank you for watching Beach Variety New School. I'm Jefferson Denham.